So I'm screenshotting. Everybody who talks, I'm screenshotting because I'm waiting for you to do a movie with it. I'm waiting. I'm petty. I don't forget. You forgive. You know what I mean? You have somebody on your pod who had someone on their pod talk. You're better than me.
Yeah.
You're better than me.
You got to be able to just let things go.
I can't wait for Gavin Newsom to go on Bad Friends. I can't. I want to see I'm distancing myself from the Rogan Sphere tour.
That's
First
hilarious.
stop, Bad Friends.
So Andrew Schulz is officially losing his mind over comedians who won't bend the knee to dear leader Joe Rogan. It's getting so out of hand that it almost feels manufactured. Like they're creating fake drama just to farm engagement. It all started a few weeks back when comics began exposing the mothership as a toxic place to perform. One of the loudest voices was Steph Tolive. She went on Santino's podcast and called out the environment at the mothership, and Santino didn't defend Rogan. Then Marc Maron went on Bad Friends and trashed Rogan for what he's done to comedy, and again no pushback from Santino. But what's weird is how obsessed Schulz seems to be with Santino over it, because right after Santino had Tolive on, Rogan still had him on JRE. Joe just went on one of his long political rants the entire time, talking conspiracies and government overreach, basically everything Santino couldn't care less about. So maybe that was his punishment. Then Joe finally addressed Maron when he had Brian Callen on last week, right around the same time Schulz started trashing Maron and Santino. And now, just a few days later, Schulz is sitting across from Rogan, doubling down on his Marc Maron hate campaign, and at the same time, overly complimenting Joe.
I thought that was corny.
Yeah.
I thought it was corny.
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't know. It is what it is.
You're more forgiving.
There's no time that you should, in my mind, no time that you should be spending on these kind of conflicts. It's like pointless. It's wasted energy.
Yeah, but it's fun to talk some shit.
Well, you know, when I decided to talk shit about Maron was after the Theo thing. After Theo kind of went off the rails.
Yeah.
And Theo went off the rails right after Maron put him in his special.
Yeah.
I think if Hitler were alive today, he'd probably appear on Theo Vaughn's podcast. And Theo would be like, "See, y'all did a lot of meth, right? That shit'll make you crazy, dog."
You know?
You know my issue with that joke in the special? It was just like what Twitter says.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't even like a creative angle.
It's not good.
It was just like literally what every tweet would say.
Meanwhile, it was one of the funniest jokes he's ever made because it's an impression of a really funny guy.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to rely on Theo's impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like my whole thing with Maron is like I think that like people outside of comedy have this idea of him, but like everybody inside comedy knows he's a piece of shit and they've known it for years. And like this is not just like us.
No.
You know, like there's that great like Jon Stewart story about their thing, which is like I don't even know what people know, but like John took that MTV show and Maron like ripped him for how you sell out, you piece of shit, how dare you do it. And then when John leaves to go do another show, guess who takes over that same show? Maron. That's who we're dealing with. So it's like, it's one of these things where like inside the game, we all know who the pieces of shit are and we just go, oh.
It's weird how Joe tries to spin it like the only reason he went at Maron was because Maron hurt Theo's feelings. These two have been feuding on and off for 20 years. It's not some random act of chivalry. That's just Joe pretending there's a noble reason for reigniting their beef. It's weird how they contradict themselves, immediately saying Maron's joke wasn't funny, then immediately admits it's one of Maron's funniest jokes, but only because he's doing Theo's accent. Like, it's not even a good impression. The whole bit works because Theo will talk to anyone, from lunch ladies to the president. And yeah, comparing the president to the Fuhrer is probably going to make some people upset, but that's the joke. It makes people feel a way. I'm not even taking sides here. Both sides are out of touch. But what is funny is how blatantly Schulz is sucking up to Rogan the entire time. Like Joe does this painfully bad Trump impression, probably one of the worst you'll ever hear, and Schulz loses it. Full knee slap.
This is how Marc Maron works. He sees you get successful. He feels bad, so he comes up with a reason why you're bad.
Exactly. And he'll find some like intellectualization of it to justify his bitterness.
You want to know what he hit me with Fear Factor?
What do you say?
You're taking jobs away from comedians who would be writing on sitcoms.
What? How is that?
Because I'm doing a
people eat
reality
cockroaches?
show. So the reality show, which is #1 show in the country, would have if it didn't exist.
That was a Trump moment right there.
#1. It was the best. But when the idea was that somehow or another this is stealing, it's the dumbest justification.
You're just angry,
where
bro.
You didn't look at it at all. You didn't have any insight. You didn't like step back and go, okay, let me reflect on this. Does this make any sense? Because it doesn't make any sense because those people are doing a job outside of comedy.
Exactly.
Just like me. I'm doing a job outside of comedy too.
But you can't even give it any credence. It's like the guy, every criticism he has, he's guilty of. Like, he's like, how dare you have presidents on the pod and have fun with them? And it's like, you had Obama before anybody. You started this. You didn't ask Obama anything about fucking drone strikes or whatever. And frankly, and I love Obama. I just want to point that out. Like, I actually really do. And I know there's probably fucked up shit that anybody in power got to do. But like, I liked him.
I love him as a statesman. I think he was the best statesman we've ever had.
You just felt good.
Yes.
You just felt good.
We felt like he's a great representative of America.
100%.
He's as intelligent and measured as anybody who's ever held the office. Better than any. Like Clinton, when he was young, was really good. I think Obama was another level.
Yes. So,
I think Obama was another level.
Anyway, but it's like, yeah, you did it. You did the thing. You did the exact same thing. Talk all this shit about like, oh,
we just had him on recently. You didn't ask him anything.
Of course he did.
Anything like would you have repealed the Smith-Mundt Act?
It's pretty rich of Joe to trash Marc Maron for not pressing a politician when every time Joe has one on, he just lets them stroll through the podcast spewing PR nonsense. All Trump had to do was tell Joe he's a Khabib guy, and suddenly Joe's grinning for 3 hours, tossing softballs and nodding like a bobblehead. And let's not forget the FBI director episode. The guy flat out lied for 2 hours, and Joe just sat there like, wow, that's wild, man. But sure, let's call out Maron for not grilling Obama, a guy who hasn't been in office for 9 years. And yeah, Maron should have pressed him. He dropped the ball. But Joe acting like he's got journalistic integrity? This is the same dude who says he loves Obama and Clinton. Right, because Obama's drone strikes and pallets of cash to Iran were super chill. Not to mention the hot dog parties. And Clinton? Mina, Epstein, Arkansides, what a great guy. I felt like we just shifted into another timeline again where these guys aren't corrupt actors. Maybe he's going back to the left because all this administration has done is use him and he has to see it by now. If you've been keeping up with the drama, you'll see that Schulz just parrots back to Joe the same talking points Joe brought up a couple of episodes earlier with Callan.
Well, this is the thing. He positions himself as this intellectual, but he doesn't say anything interesting.
Yeah, I think
there's nothing that guy ever says where I'm like, wow, that's a unique insight.
That's the thing.
Fucking never. It's childish with a good vocabulary.
No, I think he's a smart guy. I think he's probably smarter than he is funny. I think that drives him crazy.
Yeah, but he's also too obsessed with himself to be reflective enough to understand why other people don't like him.
Wait, you're saying the guy who talks by himself for 5 minutes before the president comes on? 15 minutes? If there wasn't for Fast Forward, there would be no Maron podcast.
Yeah.
And that
was
before,
just the rant.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the rant. Yeah. Imagine.
But anyway, so it's just like
the rant is what killed the show. By the way, if he didn't have the rant, he probably wouldn't be bottom 200.
I think better shows came out, and it's just like that's just the nature of the game.
There's that too, but it's also he's not that good at talking to people. He's not nice.
So I don't know. My whole feeling about it is just we know who the pieces of shit are in our industry,
right?
And we're aware of it because we've seen them from the jump.
After railing on Maron, Schulz makes sure to throw Santino under the bus too. And that's when it really starts to feel manufactured, because Joe clearly didn't care that Santino had Maron's cash trashing him. He literally just had Santino on the show like nothing happened. But for some reason, Schulz just can't let go that Santino didn't rise up and defend Dear Leader. And the funniest part, he never says Santino by name, but it's obvious who he's talking about. All the while, he's slipping in these not so subtle signals to Joe, basically saying, don't worry, boss. I'd never let that happen. I'm team Dear Leader all the way.
If I'm sitting down with a comedian, right, and this is why I don't fuck with a lot of them, is if you immediately start talking shit about your co-host to me when I'm sitting down with you, I got to start questioning your integrity a little bit. It's that's your boy. Why are you shit-talking your boy to me?
Right.
So but you saw it. A lot of these guys, man, you saw it. You saw a lot of these guys. You saw, and it's I think a lot of this is just salvation, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's they see an internet trend, and I think that like right now there's this internet trend, oh, the fucking manosphere, blah, 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 blah. And I think I see guys who you were very generous to, you let your platform, your millions of followers, the biggest show on the planet, help them make tons of money, help them really have success, build their own platforms. And now they see an internet trend about the manosphere or whatever, and I see guys trying to create a little separation. I see all of a sudden it's you use this guy to make millions of dollars and get all these fans, and now you see online outrage, and you're like, oh no, that's them, that's not me. It's you had no problem being part of the Avengers. You know what I mean? You had no problem being in the photos. You had no problem before. And now you see a little shit going on. You separate. I feel like that's the moment you double down for your boy. That's the moment you go, I know that person. What people are saying about him isn't real. And you refute that. That's what I would do.
You hear that, Joe? That's what I would do. Schulz is like that little dog from the old cartoon. The one bouncing around the big dog going, what are we going to do today, Spike? We're going to go beat up some cats? And what makes it even funnier is that right after that, Joe starts talking about how there are a lot of cowards out there. You can see it trigger something in Schulz. He gets uneasy. It's like a bad poker face.
There's a lot of cowards out there in the world.
And it's just, they're scared.
They're scared, and this is like a time of real attacks. Like in the past, like say in the 90s or something like that, if you supported Andrew Dice Clay or something like that, like you didn't really get any heat. Nobody cared. You could do an interview and you're like, I think Dice is hilarious. You wouldn't like lose sponsors. You wouldn't, nothing would happen.
Yeah.
But now there'll be like an organized campaign to try to take you out.
Oh, yeah. With bots.
Yeah.
Like people don't even think the bots thing is
you
real.
pay for it. You can hire them.
And why? And there's other countries that are involved in that shit too. Not to be like, it's not even conspiratorial, but like, I think a little bit, that's what the comedy festival, the Riyadh thing was a little bit.
Probably.
Because it was so peculiar. It's like they're already so entrenched into like our entertainment, and then all of a sudden we went out. And I think sometimes something gets a little bit of buzz, and then people, send the bots to create a little friction or separation.
And then people hop on board.
Exactly.
They pile on.
They have to, because they see there's views there.
I had Palmer Luckey on the podcast yesterday, and he was discussing that. He was discussing these like organized campaigns and how it's affecting people's minds.
It's funny how Schulz is like, yeah, I saw that podcast. What did he say? It's also really funny that millionaire comedians actually think foreign governments are creating bots specifically to sabotage the Rogan sphere. Like, yeah, that's definitely top of the list for global powers. Not inflation, not war. Andrew Schulz's stand-up. It had to be the bots with the Riyadh hate, right? Because there's no way Americans could just be mad that he's performing in a country with massive human rights violations. And wait, aren't those the same guys that did 9... Never mind. If this podcast could be filled with any more BS, now is the perfect time to address the hate he got for charging his fans for his special, the one he uploaded to YouTube a few weeks after charging them to watch it pay-per-view. But Joe couldn't care less. Before Schulz even finishes his little redemption arc, Rogan pivots into his own propaganda.
Like there's these people who say that like I remember when I bought back the special and then I sold it.
Yes.
And then they're like, and then he put it out on YouTube. It's like there's literally a video of me going, if you can't afford it, steal it. And if you can't figure out how to steal it, I'll put it up on YouTube. Yeah. It's like I can't be more clear.
Right.
But it's a way funnier narrative to be like, oh, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, guys, like...
He got your money and then he put it up for free on YouTube and he's getting more money.
I'm saying steal it if you can't afford it, and then I'm going to put it up on YouTube in the future. And it's like, what do I do in that situation?
Listen, man. I went to see SpaceX launch on Monday. Jamie and I went down there. We went down to South Texas, watched the rocket launch. It's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
That's all I got.
Give me that